welcome to the stream. If you're new here, I'm Jared. I have been writing Ruby for long enough to know better, and I run a software consultancy called Super Good Software, where we build e-commerce sites using Ruby on Rails, and specifically an e-commerce framework called Solidus that's built on top of Rails and is exceptionally customizable for it. Yes, Mimsy, I did move my desk. I am back. I have my GPU back, so I rearranged things a little bit, and my computer is no longer falling over as I try to stream. It is running much more smoothly. In fact, well, I was gonna switch some settings around, but I can't while I'm actually recording, or record while I'm streaming, so that's okay. Anyway, what are we doing tonight? We are doing Advent of Code puzzles. We are heading into day 15. They launch at midnight Eastern time, so in just a short 7 minutes, we will be getting to see the next puzzle. As usual, I have my, where we go, my Whiskey Dev, Advent of Code Whiskey. It is doing a whiskey advent calendar. This one today is Jefferson's Ocean Voyage 17, which is a bourbon, and it is aged at sea. It's kind of a unique bourbon in that way. I don't really know how many places, if any others, do that, but they're saying banana, zucchini bread, and ice wine, mint, and sugar cane on the nose. Definitely some sweetness, definitely some weird flavors in there. I see where they're getting bike tire, but it's not what I'd call that. I think it's a pleasant flavor. But yeah, lots of sweetness on the finish. Real tasty. Really, really tasty. Whoops. That was unfortunate. There we go. We have 5 minutes remaining before our next puzzle drops. Yesterday we did some horrible things representing 36-bit words as strings, or arrays of strings. Not what I'd recommend necessarily doing, but it worked just fine. And yeah, we got nothing to do for 4.5 minutes. So, talk to me, chat. How's it going? I just had to reset my leaderboard code, my private leaderboard code, because I accidentally showed it on stream. But that is fixed. Sure, I'm not the first person in the world to do that. How am I enjoying the puzzles as they get more complex? I don't feel like a lot of them have necessarily gotten that much more complex. It's kind of all over the place. But I have enjoyed them. There's not been any puzzles that I've like really hated or anything. So you know, what do I want to say? The dynamic programming one was fun. Even that that what do we call it? Modular Math Primes one on the 13th was tough, but it's good. Favorite whiskey so far? I don't know. They've all been good. I haven't been. I should have taken notes or something. There've been a couple. The one that was like kind of peaty but also kind of fruity. Wasn't really into that. That's Scotch. Other than that, though, they've been good. No complaints. This one, I really like this one. I like bourbon, so that's an easy win. Oh, and as a reminder, we will be programming on Apple's M1 architecture. As you can see, we are doing so under virtualization, or whatever we want to call it, under Rosetta 2. But this is, we are living in our Apple Silicon land. Oh, I was not showing my screen, was I? Going to show you this. Oops, let me try that again. This. It was proof that we are running under Rosetta 2. Yeah, this one's very, very drinkable. Good amount going on there. Good amount going on, so let's whoops, not the stream manager. That's not what's supposed to be on screen. Go. We'll be doing day 15 part 1 momentarily in just a short 25 seconds. What kind of books do I have behind me? Programming books mostly. There's books on Elasticsearch. Bunch of books over there that I haven't read. Bunch of books over there that I have read. Kinds of books. All right. Rambunctious recitation. You catch the airport shuttle and try to book a new flight to your vacation island. Due to the storm, all direct flights have been canceled, but a route is available to get around the storm. You take it. While you wait for your flight, you decide to check in with the elves back at the North Pole. They're playing a memory game and are ever so excited to explain the rules. In this game, the players take turns saying numbers. I've seen that. Number weighing, right? They begin by taking turns reading from a list of starting numbers. Then each turn consists of considering the most recently spoken number. If that was the first time that number has been spoken, the current player says 0. Otherwise, the number has been spoken before. The current player announces how many turns apart the number is from when it was last spoken. So after the starting numbers, each turn results in that player speaking aloud either 0 if the number is new, or an age if the number is a repeat. For example, starting with the numbers 036, turn 1. Okay, so this is an example. Game ends when the elves get sick of playing or dinner is ready, whichever comes first. The question for you is, what will be the 2020th number spoken? In the example above, the 2020th number spoken will be 436. Here are a few more examples. Excellent. We like examples. Your puzzle input is this. Well, that's interesting. This is the first time we've had a one where my script is going to try to grab the input, but it might not exist. Oh no, it does. Lovely. So they just give it. That's nice of Eric and whoever works on this thing with him. All right. So let's tackle this. I am going to code this as a class, or how do we write our own enumerable? Not something I do very often. What's the best pattern for this? I think we just need to implement each. Yes, come on, skip to the goods. Just give me a reference. Sure. Okay. Seems relatively straightforward. So like, sure, let's, so we know this is gonna look something like include enumerable, definitionize the seed, save that seed, or I don't know. So let's make sure our API is sensible here. So we can come back here. So we'll take our example. So we'll pass them in as an array. So we'll say game.new with an array of numbers, spaces, because it's a, you know, we need those spaces. We're trying to run a civilization here. Assert equal. I'm gonna just use take. 0. 3, 6. Actually, we're going to do this seed, and we're going to store that in that, and at some point later in this, I will regret naming a variable a, probably, somehow. So we got that, our tests fail, we get nil, because this is just garbage in here. Turn to enum each unless block given. And so what am I doing here? So if our seed still contains anything, then we check our array methods. And try to remember the first. What's the first element of the array? How do I remove that? Shift. C.shift block call A. And add method shovel for nil class. And that is fair, because that's supposed to be an empty array. And this is supposed to be made on last, just on a run here. That's why we write tests. That's interesting. What's the method I actually want to call here? I want take, but just like guess I can do that. Or we can just combine this into one test. Cool, so that test does not pass. Maybe someone has a better blog post on this. Turn enumerator instead. But no, I'm having fun. Let me have my fun. Oh, because I'm... Is this what I need to do? Yes. Then we need to move on to the next pieces of the example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can test them all. Sorry, that's not what I want to put in there. G take 7. This is the first one of the first 10 examples here. And we need a 0 followed by a 3 followed by a another 3, followed by a 1, and then a 0, a 4, and a 0. But as you can see, that does not work. So now I don't actually have any idea. Is this actually lazy under the hood? How does that work? Like, if I do 100 times do block.call 3 or 2, whatever, like, oh yeah, okay. So I guess the magic of enumerable helps us out here. I am curious how that works, but I do not know. So if count a dot last, a dot count a dot last. So if the number of the last thing in the array is 1, then we call 0. And that's going to get us exactly 1 step closer to working. Yes, we can see we actually get some zeros in here. Otherwise, we do block dot. Need the indexes of can we get the indexes of elements easily? I can think of bad ways to get the indexes of elements. The index of the last object in self double equal to obj. Make sure I have the rules right. Otherwise, the number is spoken for. The current player announces how many turns the number is from when it was spoken previously. Okay, which is going to be just like some number minus 1 always, right? So last number spoken is 3, had also been spoken for, and recently on turns 5 and 2. Sorry, I don't understand that. Oh yeah, I do understand. I think I understand that. Okay, so this case, I'm just gonna put a bind up pry in here. Actually, let's try and write it out. So a dot each with index dot reverse dot select. See what that does. Interesting. But a 0 is never... What? Oh. There's always at least one of that number. What am I missing? Zero. Okay. So now a dot last is 0. Oh, we're not shoveling them in. Whoopsie. You can even extract that to a number, I guess, into a thing. So def we have to pass the block and stuff in. Whatever, leave it as is. Okay, we can't reverse the enumerator unless we have to 2A in there. To get the indexes and subtract them. Necessarily need to map that forever. And then we say a y block.call a.last. Cool. All right, so that looks like we've done it. Is there a method on enumerable to just go to get a certain index? Take, detect, no. Well, that's fine. So we can test this. Example should be 536. So we should be able to do g.take 220 the last. That's not 220, but you know what I mean. I wrote the right thing. Cool. So that suggests that we have something that might work. Put our input to those. Pass our input in here. and do that. I have a failing test. Oh, yeah, sure. Whatever. Awesome. There's part 1 done. Day 15, part 1. All right. Now for part 2. Impress the elves, issue a challenge. Determine the 3 millionth. Is that what that is? 30 millionth? 30 millionth number spoken. For example, look at the same starting number as before. Sure. Well, let's first of all, let's just put an actual test in here that will actually pass. Okay. And then we can def num 2020 num. And, you know, this is probably just going to show us that our implementation is too slow, but I was worried about that. So let's just get an idea of how slow our thing is. We'll say if a dot length percent 1,000, so every 1,000, let's, oh, and I'm not running the right. Gotta run part 2. So that's way too slow. So it's getting slower and slower the larger the thing. So we're gonna have to do something clever and likely keep track of the index we're on and the last index where we saw a given number, because that's, I think, all we care about. Cool. That's fine. So we can just write a new thing, you know? You always know when they give you an input that's like 2,000, like, you're gonna give me a big input after this. So it's one thing I miss about our spec is the described class thing. So let's continue doing this as an enumerable. That's kind of fun. And let's also parameterize our game class. So this should behave the same, and we'll get a bunch of passing tests, but then it'll grind to a halt. Fortunately, this code it's all good, basically. I think we're gonna need a new like def do number, do some Seattle RB style, not put parens on our argument, even if when we're defining methods. Oh, we need a block too. So currently we do a n block.call a.last. So we can replace these with do number y and do number 0 and do number c.shift. Very nice. Again, oh, that does not pass. Oh, we need to pass the blocks in as well. Oh. Only once. Let's disable our test that is prohibitively slow. Okay, so tests are still passing, but our thing is noticeably slow. So lights are about to change in here. Set the mood for the second half of this video. So now we don't want to build a whole big array. We want to just keep track of what we've seen. Managed to make a mistake, but it was lagging, so you never saw the mistake actually pop up on my screen. Okay, so this is going to be the number and the last time we've seen it. So we can seen, and we'll say seen n equals index. That's the index that we're at, which we're also going to need to keep track of. We are setting it. We're not. Use the right equals. And this becomes oh, do we need the last number too? Sure. Oh wait, this is tricky because we will lose the information we need. Right? Tricky. Well, this can throw this away. This is not a thing that could possibly work. This is not a thing that could possibly work. do. A little sip of bourbon. I mean, we can just make them. All right, how do I write this? I go. That's fine. So if scene last length is less than 2, we push a 0. Otherwise, scene dot last. What is the scene last? Last 2. Inject. Oh. Whatever. I didn't define a writer for that method. Okay. We're not incrementing index either. Plus 4 nil class. Huh? We literally are setting index to 0 right here. It's gotten out of reader. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? How could index be 0? Be nil? Wait. It's only sometimes nil? What? Did I do something silly? Oh. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it does. You're entirely right. I keep forgetting I don't have writer methods either. Okay. That's interesting. Some nice wrong values there, but that is probably because I need to reverse these. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, well, now we're getting wrong results, so that's better than nothing. And fortunately, it's also not fast enough to still work. Yeah. Well, I hadn't even defined the writer method, so I don't even know if that matters. Probably doesn't, because a writer you would have to write self dot anyway. It's an interesting one. Thoughts on the bourbon? I like math wrong. Am I off by one-ing? Uh-oh. That just... something subtle. Oh. Do I need to... not increment the index? Do I need to increment the index before I head in? Let's sort of step through this. So, so let's do it for the first one. And then start at -1. Yeah. Just +1 and -1 in a few places, and eventually you got it, you know? This does look like it's going too slow, so let's just do what we did before and puts index if index is a multiple of 1,000. Oh, that's actually going pretty quick. It's not super fast, but it's like would finish before 10 o'clock fast. I don't want to do it this way though. Or no, this is going to finish like momentarily. I kind of want to make it faster. I might spend till 10 o'clock trying to make it faster if this is the actual answer. All right. Now, that is not adequately fast enough in my opinion, so I would love to do it faster. Hoth, do you have any suggestions for what I might try? This is a pretty clunky approach that I've taken. It takes like less than a minute. I'd be happy with 5 seconds. 5 seconds in Ruby, I assume. Are you doing a similar approach? Yeah, mine takes 30 seconds. You're not storing all values. What's an easy way to write that so I'm not day 15 part 2 I guess I could do you're taking the last two values from the array, right? Yeah. So I can stop storing them all. That doesn't that's easy. The second number I think you already kind of know. Yeah. At this moment, I know it, but I need it for later. That was where I was getting hung up. Yes. Yeah, you're right. I think the way I've structured it, it just makes it kind of awkward to do that. I'm trying to think if there's an easy way to do it. Maybe I need to be thinking about the next number. Do the math. What is this last? So I did use this last. So maybe I need to be thinking about next. So oh, I can't use the word next. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'll just use the instance variable everywhere. I'm gonna be fiddling with a bunch of array math here, but I think this will work. It'll be like index minus do number is always going to be next. So I can probably even, I'll refactor in a sec. Clunky as all heck, but not quite. So we are not getting a 0 out of this, so well, I'll seed that in E, so okay, let's get a 6 for the first one. Something's tricky here. So if next, I mean, I guess we can pry in here. So currently scene is going to be 0, 3, and then next is going to be 6. Is that what we seeded this with? I don't even remember what the example was. So that we seeded it with 1, 3, 2. Does that change anything? I guess there's too many of them for me to do that. Sorry. What is going on? Still the wrong answer. So I don't think I've made the structure of this any simpler. So the first time we get to do number, X is already wrong, or our next is already wrong. So this doesn't even matter, I think. Okay, that's not right either. So what did we get wrong here? We yielded nil 0 3. Yeah, okay. this was more right. I don't think I made this any better the way I did this. I can't. I'm struggling to even get through the. 0, 3. Ah, nice. I'm pretty sure I want shift. Shift is doing what I expect it to do. That part's not the, that's not the part that I'm confused on. So next only gets set. This makes sense to me. So I get here. Scene contains 0 and 3. Next is 6. This is going to be true. So we're going to let's print this out again. So we get here for the first time. At next is 6. Then we show up here again. Next is 20. Oh, and oh, we never. I'm so confused. So we get 0, 3, 6 correctly. So that's expected. Now the index is 3. And at next should be. Okay. So that math I'm doing must be wrong. So first time we get there, the index should be 3, and at next, so index is 3, scene at next. Oh, it's already 3 though. Excuse me. So we've already overwritten our value. Dang it, I didn't even do the thing I was trying to do. Oh, but I can capture it before I do it. Okay. So I can say last equals seen next, and then reuse that. Hey, that's still extremely wrong, but different. Come on. So, index. We are on index 2. The next number is a 6. Last time we've seen... Wait. The index is 2. We shouldn't have seen a 6 yet. How can the last... What? How could... We need more we need our power tools. Okay, that's to be expected. Next is about to be set to 0. What? I want this so much though. let's take a step back. Let's just write it all in one method. We have a seed. That's all we have. Let's just delete all that, but bring up game, the original implementation on this side. Okay. So let's just do this way. So the simplest thing we can write is at seed each do seed block call seed. That gets us our that always just returns the same thing. So this should be while seed equals at seed dot take or dot shift. Sure. So we get our first ones, but then we don't get anything after that. Perfect. Now the next thing we need to do is track of our index, I guess. X equals 0. So we'll do our little scene thing. Scene. We can do this after though. Scene seed equals index plus equals 1. Still gets us part way, but doesn't get us any further. We could even say last scene equals nil. Need to know what our last number was. I think I'm just walking myself into the same problem, but at least I'll have walked through it again. Almost done. We'll do another loop. But yeah, this is my issue. We've already overwritten the thing I care about at this point. What if we just store the last two indexes? Call that good enough. That way I can go to bed. That'll work. Ain't beautiful, but it saves us building massive arrays. What am I even doing? Why don't I just do this with the original solution? Oh, because I've lost it. Okay. I guess I can just jump us back to something that works. And then implement this silly thing. Maybe this will be a little faster. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. Or maybe it's even slower. Come on, is there not a simple way to make this faster? Yeah, makes an extra allocation, probably slower. Huh? Is that less allocations? Probably not noticeably faster though, even if it is. Yeah, test run at 17 assertions per second. Nice and fast. So Rails sounds like a Rails test suite. Well, it produces the right result. We didn't actually get a fast thing, but it's under 30 seconds. You get a lot of numbers which appear only once. Is there something about that fact that makes this easier to optimize? Can I use that information somehow? I see. I guess I should be running these with time to actually know how long they're taking. If anything, that one technically made my test speed slower, but not by an amount that is necessarily measurable. Just curious as to let's see what the actual time is here. Yeah. 27 seconds, still not meaningfully different. I'm surprised yours is that much faster than mine. But I guess if it was just, if I removed all this erased junk, it would be. I just having trouble wrapping my head around how to do that. All right, I'm gonna call it there though. Thank you. Yeah, you don't make arrays. Yeah, that seems like it would make a difference on the scale. How do I not make arrays though? So I need a number that I would have already overwritten. Whatever. Maybe I'll come back to it and optimize it, but thank you everyone for coming. I will be back again tomorrow evening, hopefully. My run up to Christmas is rather busy, but I'm going to try and keep up with these, you know, just to keep me writing code, because don't get to write a ton of code these days. So give me a follow on Twitter, SuperGoodJared. If you're interested in what we do at Supergood, check out supergood.software. And I will see you all hopefully tomorrow night. Thanks, everyone.